Congratulations on the fantastic sequel, British spy movie about some skillful agents who don't necessarily take themselves that seriously, and for change, they don't fight Russians.
Ah, yes, it's true. I hadn't really thought, is that the Russian perspective? Do you get a bit tired of the villain role?
Well, yes, it's becoming a little bit repetitive, and all the characters there.
Is that from Cold War, do you think?
Same.
Is it from Cold War?
I'd say so. And all the kind of the characters, they look very similar as well. Not the brightest lot.
So he'd be the heavy, the kind of the goon with the. Yeah, right. Yeah, I suppose.
Like that.
Yes, I feel your pain. I guess the British have tended to get the villain in the American films over time as well. And I think that probably goes back to the War of Independence. We're probably more likely to be the gentleman villain, though. A sort of, a rather slimy, superior, supercilious villain.
If you had the Kingsmen teamed up with their colleagues in Russia, for example, so what do you think? Because, in UK, you've got the cover business they have is the tailor's shop, right?
Yes.
Then in America, it's the whiskey distillery. So what do you think the Russians would be doing?
Gosh, I wouldn't have thought Americans were necessarily, that booze was an obvious cover for Americans. It's the country that had the prohibition, or maybe that's why. What would the Russians be doing? I suppose we're talking about a distant stereotype, because I've never been to Russia. I think it might be something to do with athletics.
Right, what kind of athletics,
Well, the cliche, I suppose, is things like gymnastics. I associate the Russians as being very good with that.
Oh, the office.
Ice hockey.
Filled with a lot of gymnasts.
Well, it could be anything. I mean, the French were asking what they could be, so it's a trap to catch each other out on our stereotypes, isn't it? I don't see any reason why they shouldn't be tailors.
Why not?
Yes, we could have a Russian collaborative tailors. What do you think it would be if it was a?
Everyone is asking me that question as well.
Well, because we don't want to get caught.
Yeah,
You're Russian.
No, that's fine. But the thing is, I'd like to know your opinion.
Yes, I know.
Just because, your opinion is more interesting in that case.
Yes. It's difficult. I think if I'd spent some time in Russia, my associations, my more meaningful associations with Russia, having never been there, would be writers. But how do you use that as a cover for a spy network? It's 19th century Russian literature is my sort of, that's my only real window into Russia as a country.
What's your favorite author?
Well, I have huge passion over the years for Dostoevsky. Read everything. And Tolstoy and Gogol and Pushkin. So it's generally that kind of 19th century thing which captivated me in my 20s. And I've just actually been having a reread of Tolstoy and Dostoevsky, and I think you should read them in middle age. It's wasted on just reading when you're young.
Speaking of stereotypes, in Russia you are so loved. You are one of the most famous British actors. Russians love you, and you represent the stereotype of an English gentleman. Russians think that English gentlemen are handsome, they are polite, they've got good manners, etc. So everything you are.
You only see me on my best behavior.
But that's what I want to know about you. Are you always like that?
No, I'm not always like that.
So, for example, are you really one of those English posh people who eat porridge for breakfast and have 5 o'clock tea?
No.
Because that's what Russians think about English.
No, I mean, I have had porridge for breakfast. I have had tea a lot in my life, and sometimes it's been 5 o'clock. But no, I'm not, and I'm not posh. I know how I sound. But no, I was state educated. I didn't go forward with family money or titles or anything like that. So it's probably all rather bogus. I mean, I didn't, my parents both sound a little bit like they worked for the BBC, but that's from education rather than, hereditary. They were not nobility or anything like that. And then I go out in public, and I've been reasonably well brought up, so I try to behave politely, and that's as far as it goes, really.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.